Do you have mature skin and are wondering how to bump up your makeup a little bit when you have a special occasion? Well, it's mine and my husband's 29th wedding anniversary this weekend, and we are going away. And I just want to do my makeup a little differently and just elevate it a little bit. So I want to just walk you through the process of the things that I do when I want to bump up my game. After your moisturizer and your skincare has been applied, you can go in with your concealer to cover any dark spots or hyperpigmentation in your skin before you apply your complexion products. This concealer should be the exact shade of your complexion or skin tone. You then want to go in with an eyeshadow primer. This will increase the payoff of your eyeshadow and will help your eyeshadow to stay on longer. You then want to go in with your setting powder to set that primer into place. This will also assist in letting your eyeshadow adhere to the eyelid better. Whenever I want to up my game, I use Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 3 palette. This palette has never failed me yet. It has high payoff and performs beautifully, staying on my eyelid for as long as I want it to stay there. I use a transition shade right above my crease and a little on the eyelid. I'm going to place something a little extra special right on the mobile lid, so I'm not going to focus too much on that area, but I can cover it a little bit. To create depth, I use a darker shade on the outer eye and blend inward and upward. I left a lot of the blending in the video because a lot of people do like to watch this, but if you would like to fast forward, feel free to go to 3:33 on the timestamp. My eyeshadow looks often look undone until the very final step of my eye look, so no worries. I have blended and blended well, but there's a trick that I do at the very end that will bring all of this together. That transition shade that I used above my crease, I place in the lower eyelid and the upper waterline. This gives a softer look instead of going in with a harsh eyeliner. I still will use an eyeliner to waterline, however, but I use brown and not black. I'm going in to further thicken that eye line with my eyeshadows. This also acts as a powder to lock in the eyeliner. I'm now taking a highlighter from Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk eyeshadow palette and placing that on my mobile lid. This produces a nice highlight for that area. I then take a tinted serum, this one is by Jane Iredale, and place that on my complexion to smooth it out before I apply any further complexion products like foundation. This really does a nice job of evening out my skin tone before my foundation and allows for me to use less foundation because I do this as a first step. I'm now going in with a full coverage foundation. This is Terracotta Guerlain, and I apply this with a damp sponge, starting in the center of my face and working my way out. I do not put any foundation underneath my eyes. If I were to apply this with my fingers or with a brush, it may look a little streaky, or I may end up using more. This gives a lighter look, but still does the job of covering up my imperfections. Not completely, but sensibly. You have to have realistic expectations with mature skin. Don't forget to go down the neck, and don't forget your ears. Any skin that's exposed should really be covered with your foundation at this point. I forgot this step in the beginning, but I always cover my lips with Tatcha's lip mask before applying my makeup. I'm now going in with a contour by Merit. It's a contour stick. The shade is Clay and has a nice gray tone to it, perfect for contouring. I contour under my cheekbones, around the perimeter of my face, my nose, under my jawline, and right under my bottom lip. This creates the shading that I need to slim out my face and gives a more defined look. Doing this under my lip gives a fuller look to my bottom lip. Makes it look a bit more pouty. I then go in with a contour brush and blend all of the contour product out. This step really does slim down the jawline and brings in the jowls that may have formed at this age. I certainly have them. This really does further define the cheekbones and gives a higher look to the cheekbone. We are in essence creating our face shape here. I'm now blending out the contour on my nose. This gives a slender look to the nose and anchors the nose into the eyes, creating a very cohesive look. I'm now pushing all of my eyebrows up and making sure that they're all going upwards in the same direction. Sometimes I'll move them all in the opposite direction just to create some fluffiness when I start moving them upwards again. Oops, wait a second, I forgot to bronze. I used Christian Dior. This is an absolutely beautiful bronzer and smells delicious. It's a vacation in a bronzer. I just go over those contoured areas with the bronzer to create a sun-kissed look to my skin. Going back to the eyebrows, I start filling them in. This is a cream eyebrow pencil by NYX. Try not to box them in, but just shape them, making sure that there's an arch at the top. Give yourself a tail and flick that tail out at the end. This is my e.l.f.'s eyebrow wax. I go in and lift the eyebrows and fix them with this eyebrow wax in my inner eyebrow area. I'm sorry I blocked it here, but I go in with a Lift and Snatch by NYX to make feather-like strokes to further create my look. I then take a cream concealer, this one is by NARS, and carve out my eyebrows with it. This step really does give a very polished look at the end. I then take my Sarah Creole concealer, it's a cream concealer, and put it in the inner eye and in the outer eye as well. I use a shade that is either a shade or two lighter than my natural complexion to highlight the area and bring brightness to this area. Then I just start blending out with a concealer brush. I then set the under eye with a translucent powder. This one is the Soft Glow by e.l.f. You want to use as little powder as possible here. This is a very thin area, and putting a lot of powder will not look good on mature skin especially. You then want to wipe away any excess so that's not sitting in your skin. I'm now taking a luminizer. This one is by Westman Atelier, and placing that on my mobile lid over that highlight. This further brings brightness to this area and further gives me a more polished look at the end. I also do the same in the inner eye. Make sure you don't overdo that here. It can become cakey and can settle into a wrinkle. So make sure that it's nice and smooth, and you can further highlight with the luminizer underneath your eyebrow here. This truly gives a lot of brightness to the under eye. I'm now taking a cream blush. This one is by Merit, and the shade is Persimmon. It's a beautiful orange terracotta shade. I go in with a brush and plant that in the highest point of my cheekbones. To provide a cohesive look, don't be afraid to go up into the forehead area and down. This gives a very watercolored look to the area that's just very beautiful, I think. No more are we just placing the blush on the apples of our cheeks. It really does give us a lifted look to put it at the highest points of our cheek. And don't forget your nose to further give a cohesive look. Now that my concealer is done, I'm taking an angled eyeshadow brush and putting my transition shade back on my bottom eyelid. I'm now wiping off my lip mask and putting a little bit of my cream concealer on my lip. This will ensure that my lipstick stays in place all day. I'm now taking a lip pencil. This one is by e.l.f. Truth or Bare, outlining my lips, overlining at the top, especially at the Cupid's bow, and overlining under my lip as well to give myself a pouty look, and it will bring fullness to your lips as well. I'm now taking a satin finish lipstick by L'Oreal and applying that all over my lips. This shade is called Peach Fuzz. I'm now taking lashes by Kiss, cutting them in half. I'm actually using a quarter lash on the outer parts of my eyes. This pulls my eyes in an upwards direction and gives me a little eye lift. I'm now binding my fake lashes with my real eyelashes. I'm now taking a Dior eye primer and using this on my eyelashes before I apply mascara. This does keep your mascara from running. I'm now going back to my cream concealer and blending upwards over my eyeshadow to complete my eye look. This creates a very precise eye look and again draws your eyes upward. Now it's time for mascara. I feel that brown offers a softer look to mature eyes, but feel free to use whichever color you choose, black or brown. You are still beautiful. I'm now going into my Huda Beauty baking and setting powder and setting my look in my T-zone first, and then around my nose, and then around my lips. And I leave the outer part of my face, the perimeter, untouched. I put powder right under my contour products and blend upwards to bring further dimension to my face. You might want to go back in and further darken your blush a little bit after the powder application. Oh, I forgot one more thing. We want to highlight with Dior's highlighter. It's a powder highlighter that's absolutely gorgeous. I put some on my T-zone. And over my Cupid's bow, and over my eyes, and the high points of my cheeks. Now we are finished. A polished look full of pro tips to keep you looking beautiful all day or all night. Make sure that you set the look with setting spray to finish everything off. I hope you enjoyed this look, and I will see you next time for more pro tips for mature skin.